In this episode, I'm going to do a shootout between the Salvation Audio Salvado and the Synergy SLO. Let's get started. Okay, before we get started, I want to give a quick shout out to Patrick Yorty. He sent me his Salvado so that I can do this shootout. Thank you very much. Okay, so before we get started with the audio clips, let's go over the features and the differences between these two modules. Let's start with the Synergy SLO. The SLO has two channels, and they both have their own independent gain and volume settings. They share the same EQ. The EQ settings consist of bass, mid, and treble. What's really nice about this module is the channels are very consistent with each other as far as tone goes. So you can use channel 1 for a crunch rhythm tone, and you can use channel 2 for a really aggressive lead sound. Now for the Salvado, there's a lot of features that I got to go over. Number one, you're going to get a really nice aggressive crunch channel that will serve as both rhythm and lead. And there's a really good sweet spot I found that will serve both purposes. And you also have a bright switch in there so that if you want a little more top end, you just flip the switch and it gives you a really nice bit of top end. It's subtle, but it'll definitely help you cut through a mix. And if you turn the switch back off, it warms it up a little bit. And it also has a tight switch on it, which gives you 3 different tightness settings. And you also get the necessary EQ settings, which is bass, mid, and treble. Now this module also has a nice clean setting on it, which will bring you almost to the edge of breakup, and it sounds really good. Now I bet if you added a little bit of chorus, reverb, delay, and compression to it, it would sound really cool. And this clean channel is known as the SRV mod. It's voiced after one of the amplifiers that Mike Salvado made for Stevie Ray Vaughan a long time ago. Now one of the things that really stood out to me about this module is the secondary crunch channel that it has. It has a really cool vibey feel to it, and I could see a lot of guys utilizing this for writing purposes, and it's very inspiring to play through, and it would definitely inspire you to write some stuff that's kind of outside of the box of what you would usually write, and I will demonstrate that in a little bit here as well. That particular crunch sound is voiced in the spirit of the Salvado Atomic amplifier. So the signal chain for this video is this guitar into the Helix, and the Helix is basically doing the switching of all the modules here, and it also is providing an impulse response that I got from Own Hammer in the Heavy Hitters Volume 2 collection. The impulse is basically a vintage 30 speaker with a modern miking technique on it. So basically all of the tone and all of the sound is coming straight from these modules. Okay, so let's hear how these sound in a mix. What I've found is there's very little difference between these two modules. In fact, if there is any difference as far as the tone goes, it's negligible. Both modules sounded very fat and full and percussive, and they sounded great in the mix. They cut through perfectly. Now in that mix, I pushed both modules with a precision drive by Horizon Devices. Now I'm going to show you how they both sound without an overdrive pedal in front of them. They both sound very close to each other tone-wise. I mean, there's really hardly any difference at all. The only thing that I will say as far as the difference goes is that the Salvation audio unit is a little bit tighter than the Synergy unit. That's about it though. Okay, so now let's hear how close they sound to each other with an overdrive pedal in front of them. And I kind of did something different in this particular video than I usually do. I'm going to use two different kinds of overdrive pedals and show you how they sound with each one. The first one's going to be the Horizon Devices Precision Drive, and the second one's going to be the Friedman Golden Pearl. I'm just doing this so that you can have a little bit of variety of how they sound and how they react to different overdrive pedals. Now, as you heard, both of these modules take overdrive pedals very well. They respond to them perfectly. I mean, there's obviously tons of aggression and very percussive pick attack on every riff that I'm playing. Okay, someone in one of the groups asked me how these would respond with a little bit of volume roll off on the guitar. So let's check that out now. Both of them sounded really good and very similar to each other and responded pretty much the same when I rolled the volume back on my guitar. Now, just so you know, I did not use an overdrive pedal in that segment either because I just wanted the amp to do the work with a lower volume on the guitar. It had a really cool feel to it and it was very inspiring to play through. I kind of like doing that because it helps you play some really moody stuff on the guitar and it supports every note that you're playing. Okay, so now let's listen to the clean channel or the SRV mod on the Salvation Audio Salvado. Now that sounded really good. Like I was saying before, it was just at the edge of breakup almost, and it just depending on how hard you hit the strings with the pick. And I bet if you added some chorus, reverb, delay, and some compression, it would sound even better. Okay, so now let's check out the second crunch channel that has a really nice bite to it. Now I had a lot of fun with that channel, and like I was saying before, it kind of forces you to kind of right outside of the box a little bit and play stuff that you normally wouldn't play. I could see myself just sitting down with a cup of coffee and just playing on this for hours and just coming up with all kinds of great stuff. Now something that this particular setting reminded me of was Eddie Van Halen's tone on the song You Can't Get This Stuff No More. So I went online and found the song and started listening to it, and immediately I knew it. That's what it was. This sound is almost exactly like what Eddie used in that song. It has this really cool, vibey, crunchy bite to it, and I used the neck pickup on it, and it just sounded so cool because it added just enough warmth and fullness to it, but it still had that nice bite on top of it. Now, rumor has it Eddie Van Halen did have a Salvado for a while and actually used it on some records. I wonder if he used it on that particular song because I'm telling you, it's pretty much identical to the sound that he got. And honestly, that's one of my favorite things about that song is Eddie's guitar tone, and I finally found it here in this module. Okay, so now here's the part where I guess I got to pick a winner because after all, this is kind of a shootout, right? So which one is the best one? Well, it depends. Now let me explain. It depends on how you're going to use the unit. In other words, if you're going to be playing live with this unit quite a bit and you require two channels, such as one for rhythm and one for lead, well, the Synergy SLO is going to be a great choice for you because it gives you that. It gives you two independent channels as far as volume and gain goes. Even though they share the same EQ, you could still have a really nice, tight, aggressive rhythm channel and a really nice saturated lead channel, and they're independent of each other. Now here's the caveat to that. As I said before, there is a sweet spot in the Salvado by Salvation Audio that will serve both purposes as well. It just depends on if that sweet spot works for you or not. Now here's where it really gets interesting though. If that sweet spot works for you in a live setting on the Salvation Salvado unit, well, this is where things could start leaning more in the favor of the Salvation Audio Salvado. And here's why. You get the bright switch, you get the clean setting, and you also get that really cool secondary gain setting that gives you all those really cool characteristics and all that vibey stuff that maybe you have never tried before, but trust me, once you play through this, you're going to love it. And let's not forget about that tight switch that provides you with 3 different tightness levels. So if you have to choose between these two units, make sure you take a minute and think about how you're going to use it. I mean, once again, they sound pretty much identical. So as far as that goes, with the main high gain stuff, they sound the same. So it's just the other stuff that's going to separate them. And if that other stuff means something to you and you absolutely have to have it, then make the choice that's associated with that. Well, hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed making it. And please give me a thumbs up if you like it and share this with your friends. I'd really appreciate that very much. And to all my subscribers, thank you very much. I really appreciate you. And if you haven't subscribed, please do because I got a lot of great stuff coming up, and I'll see you on the next episode.